Everyone has a good story to tell, and you know it is a good story when the person leans in and says, "See, what had happened was," and then tells the story.
This podcast provides those opportunities to tell those types of stories in education. The stories will be from the good, the bad, and everything in between. We wanted to do this podcast to showcase stories in education and to give flowers to educators who deserve recognition for their excellence.
Our guests will feature parents, students, teachers, administrators, and just about anyone who is involved in education. These stories will inspire you, challenge you, and help you to reflect on your practice of education, whether it be from the inside of the classroom or outside.
If you have a good story to tell, we'd love to hear it. Email us at contact@andredowty.org. We'd love to have you or your story on a future episode. See What Had Happened starts now. Welcome to See What Had Happened, where we hear stories in education from the good, the bad, and everything in between. We're your co-hosts, Danielle and Andre Daughty. If this is your first episode tuning in, we really appreciate you listening. If you've been following all along, we are happy that you have returned.
Today, instead of a special guest, we had some people ask us some questions. And if you have a question you'd like to ask us, you can email us at contact@andredowty.org. And so instead of having a special guest, we're just going to answer some of the questions that you all have asked for us, okay? All right. Here's the very first question. And of course, anytime we share a story or share anything, we always make sure that we don't use the person's real name. We'll create a different name or something like that because we don't want to out people. We just want to share those experiences and stories. All right. Here's the very first question. Which students do you still remember from long ago? What made them so memorable?
I'll go back to my first year.
Okay.
It always goes back to my first year. Normally, I would remember the behavior kids and give them highlights, but I'm not doing that today.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the silent sweet part. So I had a young lady my very first year. Just the sweetest, the smartest, the most helpful little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call her Daisy.
Okay.
And what I was so impressed with her about is that obviously I was her first Black teacher. Mm-hmm. And so she was enamored with me and I was enamored with her. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I could count on her to do anything. And she would do it. And her parents were sweet. I mean, you can ask for anything more as a first year teacher.
Yeah. You love those students where you almost don't even have to ever worry about them because they do everything great, perfect, right. Mm-hmm. But you still love on them and you still, address their needs. But those, for me, I think the one that makes me think of this the most, I was teaching middle school. And for whatever reason, you and I had like a huge argument that night before. Mm. And that next morning, we both woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And normally we kiss goodbye, pray, all those good things. None of that happened at all. Mm. I remember hugging the little kid at the end, our son, and went to school. So I'm upset. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. Now I've got to teach these middle school students. And so here I am, I'm teaching the 7th grade class and you can feel the negative energy that entire day. And one of the students, I'm gonna call her Tell It Like It Is.
Okay.
Miss Tell It Like It Is, she raises her hand. She says, "Mr. Daughty." I said, "Yes, tell it like it is." She said, "There's something wrong with you." Just like that. Mm. And I was like, "What? Not me," because I'm trying to deflect and trying to defend my position. She said, "Nah, Mr. Daughty, I'm just going to be real with you. It's like, it feels like you had an issue at home and you taking it out on us."
Come on, Oprah.
She's like, "I don't know what it is, but if you need to, you can step out in the hall and just take a break for a moment."
Wow.
And then come back in because your energy is off, Mr. Daughty. Mm. And I went back to whatever our argument was that night before and that morning. And I was like, I was taking it out on these kids. Mm. So tell it like it is. She woke me up that day.
She called it out.
Yeah, she sure did. And I just had to tell it like it is in the rest of the class. Like, hey, y'all, in real life, things like this happen. You can be upset at the house and you try your best not to bring it to the school, but there are some times that you do. So I appreciate you all giving me that grace. My bad, y'all. I'll try my best not to do it again. Next question. What is the worst thing you've seen a sub do at your school? What is the worst thing you've seen a substitute teacher do at your school?
Okay. It's not my testimony, but my coworker. She was gone, of course, and her sub just, let the kids do absolutely whatever. And this teammate had a pet hamster.
Uh-oh.
So she wrote in her plans, don't do anything to the hamster. The hamster will be good, because she wasn't gone there. She was only gone for a day. Mm-hmm. He's been fed, or he has food. Don't do anything, to the hamster. They can look. The kids can go to the cage and look at him. Right. Blah 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 blah. Well, the sub decided that I don't think she even looked at the lesson plan.
Oh my!
Actually, she decided that she would open up the some kind of flu inside of the cage. Right now, this was like a fat hamster.
Okay.
So anyway, and so whatever she did. So later on that day in my classroom, my teammate is right next door to me.
Okay.
Let me put that out there. So later on that day, I think it was during plan or something, I heard like this rustling. Mm-hmm. It just going, shh, 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 shh. I'm like, what in the world? And so, I kind of ignored it, but then it just kept happening. And so I just went over to where the noise was coming from. Mm-hmm. And it was in like this trash can. It was the trash can that was by my sink. Uh-huh. And so I go and I look and I hear the shh again, and I'm looking in the trash can, and lo and behold, in the trash can was the hamster.
No.
So the hamster got out the cage and traveled to my room for some
peace. The hamster was wanting some peace.
Reason. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now, I personally don't do.
You sure don't.
Animals.
Did you squeal? Did you eat? What did you do?
I maintained my composure, but I did go and call for the custodian to come and help.
Because you don't do animals too much at all.
I don't.
And I was just thinking you was about to scream. You didn't scream or nothing?
I didn't, because I knew that the hamster was next door. And it wasn't like a rat, because I knew that the hamster next door was like fat. You know what I'm saying? And at first I was like, how in the world did it even squeeze out the cage? Right. And there it was in my trash can. I was like, okay. Because the substitute just decided, we're just going to make this.
Yeah, this is fun play day.
Yeah, whatever day it is.
Yeah. My story with the worst sub is kind of hilarious.
Okay.
And so I'm in the hall with the class, and we're about to go inside. The sub already had her students inside the class. She is taking roll. Somehow or another, the sub's stomach started to rumble.
Mm-mm. Bubble guts?
Bubble guts.
Uh-oh.
And in the midst of the sub taking roll, you heard this.
No. No.
And then you heard it again.
No.
And so now my class outside of the hall, they've lost it. I'm trying my best to hold it in because I love a good fart joke anyway. So I'm trying not to lose my cool and cry laughing. But the students have already lost it. So I'm trying to get them inside of my room as quick as possible. We're not doing a handshake, high five, dap, none of that. Guys, get in this class now. Let's get started on this schoolwork. And I peek my head in, and all of the students are Def Comedy Jam laughing, on the floor crying. And I'm looking to see who's the culprit. Who's the culprit? The sub. The sub was farting accidentally in that classroom. And she did have bubble guts. Yeah. So she looked at me, I looked at her, and I gave her a heads up, like, get out of here, go, go, go. She takes off sprinting down the hall. And I told the rest of her class, all right, guys, y'all just come on in here with me. There's no way in the world she would have finished that day. No way.
Well, did she return after?
She did. She returned and got her things. And I invited her, like, we could team teach together. Like, all the kids are in my room. This is back before you had classes of 40, per kid. So I was like, they're all in here. We're a little crunch, but they're all in here learning. If you want to, you can stay subbing all day with me and we can kind of team teach it.
So she can go to the bathroom? No,
just so she could get paid.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, nah, I'm gonna go home. And I was like, that's very wise of you.
You can't live that down.
You cannot.
Because if those kids would have gone back in that classroom, I mean, there would be no
mercy. No mercy.
That whole day.
Everybody would have been making fart noises. No mercy. They would have called her Mrs. Fart Fart. I mean, just she knew she lost. And I knew she lost. I never saw that sub again at our school. So bless her heart. Miss Fart Fart, wherever you are, I do apologize.
Well.
Yeah.
I teach second grade, and I mean, that's like on the daily.
Is it?
Yes.
I would lose my composure. Yes. I would.
And they know I'm going to say it. You have to say, excuse me, as loud as you pass gas.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, my students were always the deniers.
Yeah.
Oh, you fart. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. We heard it come out. We butt whistling. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the rare occasions, like when they had Taco Tuesday at the school, I would just say, hey, guys, if you got to excuse yourself, just look at me, give me the head nod, the eye.
That fast?
And then go walk in the hallway and handle business. Take a lap around the hall and come back on in.
In my opinion, that's not from Taco Tuesday because it takes a little bit of time.
It does. Sometimes
that's from previous meals from the week.
Sometimes it pushes. Maybe that Taco Tuesday pushed it through, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Here's the next one. The stupidest thing a student has done in your class.
Again, this is not in my class.
Okay.
But this is in a coworker's class. You know what? It's really okay.
Okay.
It's more of the parent than the student. Okay, so this particular student was with grandma. And this student's grandma had to give him eye drops for something was going on with his eyes. Well, apparently she used super glue.
No.
No. She used super glue in his eyes. And so, yeah, he came to school. I don't know. And there's documentation. There's like a video documentation of this kid. And so this kid is walking around in the class like this. And I guess they tried to get it off, but I mean, some of
the residue is still there?
From the super glue is on there. I'm just guessing because, again, the video was it was in a classroom at our school. So I'm guessing that the grandma tried to get the super glue out with water.
Yeah. But
it didn't get all the way out. Yeah. So when he was at school, I guess when the water dried, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was awesome.
No, it's okay. It's good.
Okay, I'll stop talking about it.
Your eyes
my eyes
all
glossed over.
I'm sorry. The stupidest thing I've ever seen a student do was I had one student who was a known thief. And this student would at least in a week, 3 or 4 times, try to steal something from someone in the class. So we had to implement the zip all your bags up, keep all of the most important things that you have with you near your possession type of thing. And this one student, he realized that he couldn't steal from the students anymore because everybody's stuff was put up. So then he started to try to steal from me. I remember one day having all of the candy money in the envelope because you got to turn that in for the day. Trigger Finger is telling all his friends, man, I need $12.34 because I'm going to buy this new game. And that's all I need left is $12.34. And so as a teacher, you keep your ear to the ground, you're ear hustling all day, all morning anyway. And so Trigger Finger kept saying $12.34. $12.34. I need $12.34. So great, no big deal. We're checking homework in the morning. I'm calling parents. I'm talking to parents who come to the school because they're on their way to work. And that's like the only time we can have conferences. You're doing the things that you do. All the students know what to do. I trust the students wholeheartedly. Got the money inside of the teacher desk area. And, I got it hidden or whatever. I don't know how Trigger Finger got his way to that money. But how much was missing? $12.34.
Come on, man.
I count the money one more time and I recall that $12.34 is missing. And so then I do a quick look around the room and Trigger Finger quickly gets back down to work. All right, buddy, we got it. Yeah. All right. Here's your sign. Yeah, you're showing all of the things. So I'm not about to embarrass. Okay, guys, it's time to line up. Let's go. Everybody lines up, pushing your chairs, make sure everything's all good. They pushing their chairs, make sure everything's all good. Trigger Finger's taking a very long time to line up. Normally, he's one of the first ones in line because he wants to be first at everything. But this time, he's
first to steal that money too.
Yeah. Trigger Finger is taking a little longer than anticipated. And I noticed it, but once again, I'm not going to call him out. All right, guys, let's go. Here we go. Everybody's in line. Last person out, you know what to do. They shut the door. They turn off the lights. They make sure everything's all secure. And so last person shuts the door, turns off the lights, everything. Trigger Finger is like second to last in line. So, okay, I see. Yeah. We're walking on down the line, walk to the school, walk to the office. I give the envelope to the principal secretary in the office. Like everything's normal. Trigger Finger thinks that he's won. We go all the way to PE or wherever the specials was. I think it was PE. And everybody is, and I'm looking and I'm noticing inside of Trigger Finger's pants, he's got like this huge clump. This huge clump in his pants. Now, you don't bring your pencils to PE. You don't bring any of your toys or anything. There's nothing, because it's PE. You need to be as flexible as possible. So everybody's walking. They're going in. Good job. You guys have fun. Make sure you respect your teacher. All that good stuff. Trigger Finger walks past me, and I start to walk out. And I wanted him to feel the satisfaction that he won. And then he sits down in his specific spot to get ready for PE. And right before I shut the door, I say, hey, Trigger Finger, let me holler at you real quick. And we go outside the door. All right, man. Did you get your $12.34? Because if I ask him, did you steal your money? He's going to say no. So did you get your $12.34? I remember you was asking everybody for it earlier. Yeah, I got it from my friends. Oh, that's so great. Which friends did you give it to them? Because I want to give them a thank you note. Like, that's really kind of them to, and then he starts struggling. And all right, well, how did you get the $12.34? Like, how much did they give you? Well, Jay Shine gave like $6. Really? And so I said, let's write thank you notes. So I literally got some pencil and paper out and did it. Made him feel really good inside. And then at the very end, you
made him write thank you notes?
Yeah. Because if your friends are looking out for you, so during PE, during PE, he didn't get to go to PE and have fun. He was writing notes the entire time. And then I said, And he's gonna hold on to it. All right. So now let's get Jay Sean and the rest of your homies out of class.
Yeah.
Just to say thank you. Because man, now you get to play the game. And I want you to bring the game up to the school because then I can play you. And then like we can have all of the homies play on the big screen. And so he's like, oh, that'd be done. Because by this time, you got like the smart board. Smart board is 100 foot, whatever. And so all of the homies get out of class and they're like, why are we in here, Mr. Doughty? I said, man, Jay Sean, Triggerfinger want to say thank you. And you can see him sweating. Triggerfinger is sweating so bad. Long story short, all of the homies that he named said, nah, I ain't give you no money this morning. I said, but he said he got $12.34 out. And then Triggerfinger. So now all of the homies are like, you ain't about to get me in trouble. You need to tell the truth. So they ended up outing him. I didn't suspend him. So good learning lesson there from Triggerfinger. It was so funny because now that I think about it, that was very petty of me to make Triggerfinger write all the thank you notes. And then have the students to come in and like we were gonna have a group discussion on who's gonna play against who first and whatever.
Those are the best moments.
They are.
When they think they're getting away with something.
All right, here's the last question. Do you recall a student who was so smart or so sneaky that it became scary?
Yes. We're gonna call this one Sneaky Snake. You remember that from Saturday Night Live? Yeah. Sneaky Snake. Oh, this little girl. I'm just like, how are you this sneaky? 7 or 8 years old. I mean, she would lie about any and everything. It could be like the smallest thing she would lie about. She'd always take something. It fascinated me how quickly she could lie. And I'm like, yeah, this one's, you try not to say this about kids, but I was like, yeah, this one's going to be
a problem.
And like, I could watch her do something. And you know how we just talked about, I would literally watch her do something and I'm waiting to see, how it's going to turn out. And then I ask her about it and she'd be like, no, I didn't do that. And I'm like, Sneaky Snake, I just saw it. Blah, 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 blah. No, I didn't do that. Yeah, this one time, it really got bad because, there were some kids who participated in the backpack program, where they get food and stuff. So the counselor brought, the items in on Friday, and the counselor's really good. She would, just stick it in the kid's backpack, that type of deal. But Sneaky Snake, I mean, she was just eyeballing it. So at that time, like during specials, the specials teacher would let you leave to go to the bathroom or whatever. So Sneaky Snake came back to the classroom and got that kid's food for the weekend and put it in her backpack. So then when it's time to go, I mean, and at that time, I think they still do this, but they got like a little book with everything. So anyway, when it was time to go and, everybody's packing up and the little baby was like, Miss Daughty, I don't see, Yeah. And I was like, I know. So I did the whole and I was like, listen, I know that food was in there. And I asked the class first. I said, did anybody see, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, Miss Daughty, no. And I said, okay, I know it was there. So let's do this. I need everybody to go over to your backpack and open it on up. And, let's just check. Maybe, Miss so-and-so put it in the wrong backpack. Yeah. Oh, Sneaky Snake. All of a sudden, she was the first one. I didn't even say go to your backpack. She was there before I even got the directions out. She's standing over there by the, okay. Sneaky, since you volunteered, let me see. Yeah. And so she's opening it up slowly and lo and behold, there's the food and the book. Sneaky,
She's gonna take the book.
Yeah. How did this get in your back? I don't know. I think. And I was like, that was my kid. First of all, if it was my kid wouldn't be doing that.
Right.
But I couldn't believe how quick she was just to lie.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary.
Yes.
Because if you're lying about little stuff, I mean, my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beginning of the school year, you get teachers, and the teachers, share each other's rosters. Oh, I had that student. I had that student. Oh, that student's a delight. Oh, that one, that's a low reader. So, start early with that one. That student can do the work, all those good things. I came across master manipulator, and they were like, you got her. First day of school, master manipulator had already manipulated the entire class to do her bidding. First day of school. So they're not even outside of the cafeteria where I pick up the students and walking them to the classroom. I don't know how she did it, but she knew how to work mind games like nobody else. And so she tried it on several teachers, including myself, and had me questioning, like, did I really? Wait a minute.
Good.
Hold on a minute. Did I?
When you have to question.
When you question yourself, you're like, wait a minute. Did I actually tell the class that this would be 50% off? And last I heard from Master Manipulator, she still manipulates. And she's still doing it for evil.
If you do it that young, it is going to be a part of you.
Yeah, it's a big problem now for her on social media. And
we truly appreciate you watching See What Had Happened with Us. If you have a story you'd like to share, you can email us at contact@andredowty.org. Your story can be from any perspective. Or if you have a story that you would like for us to share on the show, please email us as well. We would love to hear your story or read it on our show.
And if you have a question that you'd like us answered, just like this episode, go ahead and ask those same questions at contact@andredowty.org. We'll answer them on future episodes.
Well, that's the end of this story, but it's not the next.
Right.
Don't forget to join us for the next episode of
See What Had
Happened.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. You can find out more at teachbetter.com/podcast.